Oh boy. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Everything's looking A-okay today. How's everybody doing? How's it all going? I also know why I'm winded. I figured everything out. I did a couple jobs before I came back here to stream. I basically have had enough time to get something to eat and press play, you know, press go. I really didn't have much of a chance to test the net, but so far it seems like it's doing A-okay. I need to fucking shave like nobody's business. I have like 75 videos I want to make, but that's not for today. That's potentially, I think tomorrow is going to be a recording day. Hey, love the kitten pic. Thanks, Svetlana. That was taken. It was right before a couple streams ago. I had Cornell in here with me right before the stream started. He had jailbroken, which, well, I mean, I came home today and all of them except for one were jailbroken. Hi, Spiky Slug, dude. Missed you as well. Glad to see you back. You want to see kittens on stream? That will probably happen in a couple of weeks because they're kind of outgrowing their need for the gates, though we'll want to try to keep them somewhat contained for at least a little while longer. But if it, if this continues to happen, where they're just jailbreaking all the time, like regardless of what we do, because I originally moved the, we have little things that are on each side. That way, our older boys can get out in case they don't want to do the full leap, and we did that mostly also for Mittens, who was not feeling well last week. He's feeling much better, so we really don't need it anymore. But, so we had like a stool on one side, we had like some tins on the other. There's like popcorn tins where you get a bunch of different varieties of popcorn. They're real popular over here during holidays, especially Christmas. It's kind of like the be-all, end-all gift. If you don't know what to get for somebody, you just get them a popcorn tin if they enjoy popcorn, and bam, you're in. You got nothing to worry about. You got nothing to worry about. So there is that. But yeah, there's really not much of a need for that anymore, so it might be time to either move those around or whatever. They love to lay on the one stool, so I'd like to put that in a place where they can still access it and like it. And I think they really liked laying on that stool because they could see the other side, like they saw a different room, and they of course all saw a different room today. So whatever. So we had a couple things happen. Happy late birthday to Neil Childs, by the way. So what's up? How you doing? Hi, Killian. Nice to see you today, brother. October has indeed arrived, and well, for those who weren't here on Saturday, and trust me, if you were here on Saturday, you didn't miss anything, because you see that the Alzheimer's Aide streaming series is now in its last day. That was supposed to be Saturday. However, my IP had other plans. It was allowing for download, so I was able to watch a video. I was able to navigate, but upload was non-existent. So, to give you a nice little example, if I would have tried to upload a video on Saturday, it would have been a very, very long wait, if it would have uploaded at all. And so I thought that maybe it was just on my side. I thought maybe it was because we had a couple of devices running at the same time, because Mysticam was off on Saturday. So I had a lot of different theories, and it ended up being the one thing I didn't sort of plan on, and that was the fact that the IP was just the IP had problems Friday night into Saturday morning, because I was speaking with my father yesterday, because yesterday was football day, and sports day and relaxation day, and well, there wasn't much relaxing going on because the Steelers suck. But it's just, it ended up being an IP issue that my father had, and then it made perfect sense that we had the same problem. So I guess that while, alright, I'll see you, Svetlana. So while the problem originated around 5 or 6 in the morning on Saturday morning, and it was both like the whole entire net was down, like everything was down, and he actually had to go through a pretty ridiculous process in order to reset his router and reset everything, because he is using his own router. He's not using one of the company's routers for their service over there and at their place. And the most that they do is they do a little bit of online browsing and they watch a bit of Netflix, and that's about all. They're not doing much. He does some live video streaming, but that's from an in-house network that he has with some security cameras that he has around the place, which are kind of silly, kind of unnecessary. They would have been more necessary whenever I was a kid, but you know, he just kind of really he just likes having fun with technology. So you know, you just kind of let him go and let him have his fun. He's been out of work for 20 years because of an injury, so he's got to find something to do, and so that's it. £1.99 from Neil wants to hear some Marvin Gaye, wants to hear Save the Children. We actually have to get to another track beforehand, but I will get that logged for us. Thank you very much. To make a long story short, the stream didn't happen. We were here for about 45 minutes and experienced nothing but frustration. It was definitely a service provider issue. And there were three song requests that came in that were unable to be fulfilled because they would not have been, you would not have been able to hear them. You would have just heard, yeah, Akon requested something, Nathan Herring requested something, and Madoru had requested something. So we're going to get to Madoru's first, since that is the only one of the three that I currently see in chat. For those who are brand new, if you request something and we do not get to it during the day in which it was requested, I will not play it until I see you in chat again. That way you have the, I guess, the proof, or, you know, it just shows you good faith is, I guess, the best way to put it. It's good faith that that your song is being honored. I don't like to play that stuff whenever you're not in chat that I know of. You know, like if you leave and come back and don't, you know, really make any query or any knowledge that you're leaving for a bit, then I really can't help that. But if I see you say goodbye and you leave, or if I don't see you chatting for a couple of minutes, then there's a good chance that, you know, I won't play the song until I see you again. So, Blue-Eyed Sons, Crawl to the Shade. The name of the song is Crawl to the Shade. The name of the artist is Blue-Eyed Sons. So we're going to check this out first, and then we're going to get into some a little bit of Marvin Gaye. So, if anybody happens to see either Nathan or Akon in chat, be sure to let me know. Hello, that album reviewer guy. How are you doing today? Hope that you are having a good afternoon. We are having a good afternoon thus far. I also need to get back to Dave the Welder. Nathan is here, you are him. Very good. Then we can play that as well. Awesome. Awesome. Well, that's good to hear, Nathan. Wonderful. That means that we'll get to Marvin Gaye first, since I already announced that as the next track. Then afterwards, we'll have Disease by Beartooth, which was requested by Nathan during Saturday's failed stream. So, in that case, the only one that we have left to honor would be Akon's after the Beartooth is played. And that'll be if or when he arrives. I'm hoping that he will be here because I know that he hadn't been here for a couple of days. He was trying to get the queue kind of filled up on Saturday. I could tell because he was talking a lot about it in chat, and then I had to tell him to stop. And I hope he didn't take that the wrong way, but it was a very frustrating day. It was a very frustrating afternoon. Yeah, Night, Blue-Eyed, and also Blue-Eyed is used as, not as a pejorative in the term for Blue-Eyed Soul. Blue-Eyed Soul being like a subdivision of soul music that is, it's not really official. It's not really official, but yeah, Blue-Eyed Soul is like a little subdivision of that music as well. One group that may be, some people say Blue-Eyed Soul was coming back in the early 1990s with artists like Boyz II Men. Yeah, I'm very glad that it is as well, Nathan. That was a very frustrating afternoon, and that actually it did not improve. Like most of Saturday was horrible. Wikipedia considered Maroon 5 as blue-eyed soul. Why don't they just consider them as bad? You know, like the rest of us. They should, the genre for Maroon 5 should just be not good since songs about Jane. The end. Or auto-tune music. Let's make it auto-tune music. 265 from Water Blanc. Let's hear some Paradise Lost with Say Just Words. And then we have some Bathory coming in from Killian Hackenschmidt. I'll have to do the translation there, but in Canadian, that's $3.50. Thanks to both of you. I appreciate that. I should make you guys aware of where we are as far as the donation is concerned here soon. Chelsea Grin, the biggest mistake that Chelsea Grin had was losing Jason Richardson. I'll say it. Biggest problem that Born of Osiris had was losing Jason Richardson. Jason Richardson, 273 by the way is the translation. Jason Richardson, I don't want to say that he is like the savior of those bands or was the only thing that made them good, but having a guy like Jason Richardson in your band is a huge coup, considering it gives you a large amount of freedom as an artist. Like, there's a lot that he brings to the table that causes your overall compositions to just kind of feel a little bit more dense and a little bit more massive by comparison to some of the others. But Marvin Gaye with Save the Children is up next. This is the, we're going to do the original Detroit mix. This is off of What's Going On, which by itself, really good song. Hey, listen. Stevie Wonder, Marvin Gaye, The Temptations, The Four Tops, you know, some, Earth, Wind and Fire, some of those great individuals and bands. Every so often, whenever you're going through a bunch of music, if there's a night where you're just jumping from artist to artist, jump onto one of those. Jump onto one of those artists and just enjoy the ride. Because let me tell you, really good stuff. These are classic albums for a reason. This... Whoa! It's too late to change track? Absolutely not, Killian. I can accommodate, my friend. Maru, yes, I did get your email today. I received it. Everything is cool with that. I haven't got the opportunity to reply or do anything because I've not been available until like now, or like the 10 minutes before the stream that I hurried up and like devoured a pizza that just tried to come back up. It's like one of those like box pizza things. Yeah, Killian, if you want to change up your track, let me know, and then I'll just have to make a notation of that. It's fine. When I look at the world. But yeah, I have it right here. Credit score, yay. Probably went down because hooray. Really big fan of a couple of these tracks, just before even thinking about it. Like, I'm just looking here and I see Dire Straits and Pink Floyd, and immediately I'm just like, ooh, yes, that's amazing. And then Adele, Adele's a damn good vocalist. Like, I seriously don't think I've heard a bad Adele song. Total Destruction, still Bathory? Can't be done. Total Destruction. I'm just gonna have to make a notation of that. There we go. What is my album of the year so far? My album of the year so far is the brand new Orphan Land album. Live life. But I'll tell you, there has been a couple of albums that I've heard over the past couple of weeks that are definitely trying to threaten for position. If you were in the stream last Friday, you may have heard Lurch and Andy both talking about a group called Spires that just released a brand new album, and they are tremendous. and that album was tremendous. Best way that I could really describe them would be they're Opeth, only the clean range is used a little bit more often and might be a little bit, it's a little different range that's utilized. It's a little bit different of a clean range that's utilized, but musically, there are a lot of comparisons, and whenever it comes to the death growls, my gosh, there are a lot of comparisons. Check the last Riverside album. There will be a review of the new Riverside album coming this week. So definitely be on the lookout for that. Kiara's in the building. How you doing? Hello, hello. But Pavlos is also here. How you doing? How you doing? Music never really clicked with you? You know, it happens. That's not a problem. That happens, you know. I feel that way a lot of time, or I feel this way a lot of times. Like, I feel that there's something that blocks me from enjoying some things that the masses love. This again is going back to work. Oh, everyone say goodbye to her. Everyone say bye-bye. Anyway, Beartooth up next. Oh, man. The song that was just recommended after Save the Children is Inner City Blues. Makes me want to holler. Oh, such a good track. Such an awesome track. I might be listening to some Marvin later on tonight, though I doubt it, considering I have like a trillion other things to listen to. Oh, man. The number of things I have to listen to right now is kind of absurd. So this is going to be a really long... It's already been a very long day. And even after the stream is over, it's just going to continue. Mostly because if I try to hold off until tomorrow or something like that, it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good. Gravedigger with Zombie Dance by Waterblanc. Gravedigger, when you dig my zombies. So 265 from Waterblown. Thank you very much, brother. I appreciate it. Hopefully, one thing I did not get to do today, and I'll openly admit it, Waterblown, is I did not get to make it to the post office. So I will be doing that tomorrow for certain. So I will hopefully have a tracking number for you. I will hopefully have a tracking number for you, but I don't know if that is something that's going to happen, because I thought I was going to get a tracking number for my shipment to Mexico for a fan, and the only thing there was a customs number, so, you know. Any opinion on Anathema the Optimist? It's a pretty solid album. Their latter era albums, really, it's all dependent upon what how you like your Anathema, I guess. Because obviously the band has changed a lot ever since their debut. You know, and even since albums such as like Serenades and Alternate 4 or Alternative 4. But again, speaking of Anathema, if you don't have a copy of Alternate 4, reach down. I got one available and for sale. Nah. Someone's asking about Filter. Man, oh man. Back in the late 90s, I dug Filter a lot. I've listened to some of their albums ever since, you know, the popularity of Title of Record and the Amalgamate. They're just kind of okay. It's a little bit loud. I can take care of that, no problem. Just give it a little bit of a softer down, or a little soft down. Oh, Take a Picture is a wonderful track. Really, Title of Record was just it was such a big album because it did have really strong singles. And that was an age where, first of all, if you had a sound like Filter, there's literally little chance that you were going to fail unless your, you know, songs are just really generic. And let me tell you, those songs definitely did not feel generic. They felt unique. Take a Picture felt unique. And I'll tell you, last night, somebody reposted "Be Quiet and Drive" by the Deftones, and I'll tell you what I kind of realized by listening to that track. And that track, by the way, is 21 years old, in case you're curious, which I'm sure you weren't. I certainly hate saying that, considering it ages me and dates me. But these are songs, like, those are songs that don't necessarily feel all of that complicated. Whenever you listen to "Be Quiet and Drive," you realize there's only two real main ideas to that song. There's just two main ideas to that song. This song, by the way, Sagest Words, is off of what I consider to be a really criminally underrated Paradise Lost album. So this is off of 1 Second. This was whenever the band kind of ditched a lot of the like the really, really super, super heavy, you know, dark death metal style vocals, and really became just sort of like a gothic band. And I got 1 Second at a store many a moon ago for like $1. And I remember Mercy off of this album really, I love it. It's like one of my favorite songs in the Paradise Lost discography, and I don't even care. Sagest Words is really, really good too, which we're going to listen to right now. But yeah, what I really loved about that Deftones track is that you can very clearly tell just the very subtle difference, and that's all the more they had to do in that song. That's all the more they needed to do with that song. Am I waiting for the new Behemoth album? I am very excited to talk about that album. One of the big reasons why I didn't do a lot of reviewing, or haven't done any reviewing over the past couple of weeks, has been I've been streaming pretty much every weekday, or been trying to, and I've run into IP issues, you know, a couple days, or boy. But anyway, yeah, I've been doing more on the streaming side, which of course takes time away from the reviewing side, like almost completely. Streaming really does, I will say that streaming kind of drains you. Streaming kind of drains you, especially whenever you are the only, like aside from the music, you're the only source of entertainment, or the only source of, like, excitement for the people. Like, there's not a video game playing in the background or something like that in order to provide them with, like, visual stimulus, which takes the heat off of you a little bit. And plus, I just naturally like to talk. I like to talk with people. The funny thing is that I like to talk to people whenever I'm on stream, but whenever I'm off stream and I'm, like, in a crowd or something like that, having a conversation, a lot of times, the quicker that conversation is, the better, because a lot of people are kind of bored. So I'm actually wondering what all I'm going to get done after this. Mostly because I don't know how much energy I'll have left. Because the couple of jobs that I did today, they were, thanks to the like 12 or 13 inches of rain that we've had in this area over the past month. Let's just say that landscaping and yard work, you know, anything that involves the ground, or plants, or compost, or mulch, or whatever, it's just a damn mess. It's just a damn mess. So I've been going at it since like, God, 9 this morning. Maybe a little, yeah, I was up at 8, which is after going to sleep at 4. So I'm on 4 hours of sleep. Oh man, what a day. It's been a beautiful day. I just go to sleep after this, you know. But, we're going to go here until I die. No, we're not going to do that. We'd be here for a long time. I'm not going to die for, like, years. I think eventually YouTube would kick me off. Eventually they'd be like, listen, you've been streaming for, like, 7 weeks. What are you doing? Stop it. But listen to Daniel Kavanaugh, Monochrome. No, I have not. No, I have not. But yes, this is the final day of the Alzheimer's Aide streaming series, and I wanted to get you guys to know where we currently are as far as the donation is concerned. Because remember, 30% of all donations, or 30% of all donations are going to the Alzheimer's Foundation of America. Well, not including the. Oh God damn it! Oh God damn it! Up next, we have Battery with Total Destruction. I remembered. It's like me saying, like, I pooped. Battery with Total Destruction, as opposed to the track that was actually, that was initially requested, should I say. The track that was initially requested was A Fine Day to Die, which, it's a little bit of a longer cut. I think it's a little bit of a longer cut. That's probably why you wanted to switch it up, eh, bud? Ween is okay. I had a buddy in college who was, like, I would say maybe one of the top 100 Ween fans in the world. Like, he was a little bit too obsessed. Like, even, and this is coming from me, who, for some bands, is like one of like 300 fans back in the day. But at any rate, $3 from Gillian wants to hear, I'm the man, I'm the man, I'm bad, I'm so bad, I should be the attention, I'm the man. I don't know why they gave it to me in euros, but okay, that's dumb. So it's $2.34 for I'm the Man, which is, I mean, listen, that song is priceless, so there's no way that we could put we can't attach a price onto that song, can we? Well, we probably can't, but we sure can try. We can sure try, right? 872.60 is currently where we are as far as the total is concerned. We are looking to get it to $1,000 for Bad Song Stream 2, or $12.50 for the Olympic Video Insanus and Lulu full playthroughs. Which, just shoot me. You know, just shoot me. Oh, the Dissolution of the Pineapple Thief sucks. They are really super underrated. They've always been super underrated, and it's a shame because they're good. Like, it didn't matter what label they were on, they just didn't seem to ever get very much in the way of the promotion or, like, what they needed in order to get kind of seen within the same pantheon of prog. Maru with £5.50. Swallow the Sun. This cut is the deepest. I agree. This is the greatest severance of them all. The final of insults. Because that song is a treasure. Swallow the Sun is just a treasure. Let's be real. That's 6:37. I'll eventually be able to tell you where we're at. I'll eventually be able to get... listen, I'll get there. It'll happen. It'll happen. I have faith. It just might be very savagely misplaced. I'm hating on the Lou Reed Legacy because I'm not a fan of one album of his. That seems kind of silly. That seems really kind of silly. Anyway, before we started today, the total that we had was $859.63, which meant that our donation was up to $257.89. I mean, you really cannot go wrong with that. I'm also totally cheating right now. Or I'm going to totally cheat right now, and anything that is donated today, I'm going to put on in September. No, I probably shouldn't do that, damn, now that I'm thinking about it. Trying to make things easy on myself, but of course my IP, or my ISP rather, decided, you have things easy? No. So, because things feel kind of unclear and unknown, but the High donor for last month for September was actually Akon. Akon was the high donor of September. Second place was Maru. Third place was Waterblanc, actually. Fourth place was Justin. And fifth place was the Rift Notebook. Those were the standings there for that. So going to have to get something nice for Akon. Little token of our appreciation overall as... yeah. That's all I got. That whole thought and me collectively both just ran out of steam at the same time. We just both ran out of steam at the same time. Zombie Dance by Gravedigger up next. And I have to say, I won't dispatch actual numbers because anyway. I will, well, Neil, I'll be honest, I think a lot of folks do that with a lot of different bands, or especially with those who are, like, super fans are weird. But, I didn't want to dispatch any sort of totals because that's kind of private information and all that stuff like that. And you don't know whether or not people want that to actually be out there. But it was really, really close. It was really, really close. It was down to like, I wouldn't say $5 or $6. It wasn't very much. So I'm kind of disappointed that Saturday's stream went to hell because it would have been interesting to see how that would have all gone and whether or not we would have seen a change at the top, but unfortunately not meant to be. But yeah, our high tipper of last month was Akon. So. Right. I might be announcing a timeout pretty soon. Just throwing that out there. A specific metal band? Are we talking like random other band, or are we talking Metallica? Because if you're talking Metallica, then at this point, you know, it's almost like an old meme at this point. Like, you can't have that opinion around, you know, or you can't have the inverse opinion either, because if you do, then you basically are just parting them all down the middle. Has a quadruple album ever been made? Yes, actually. It has been done, but not in the way that perhaps is being described. The Flaming Lips actually recorded an album where you're supposed to play all of the discs, and I think it's like a 5 or 6 disc set. You're supposed to play them all at the same time on like 6 different like music players in order for it to like all sync up. Something of that variety. Like, it was a really strange and out there idea. That's the only album that really comes to mind. Or, but if you're talking like a quadruple studio album as opposed to like a greatest hits or a live record or stuff like that, then I'd have to really do some digging on that one, man. You know. I'll tell you what would be really, really interesting. What would be really, really interesting would be that if, just to break a record or something like that, like if it was a record that there's never been like a quintuple studio album made, that some band just opted to do that. Maybe that's what Swallow the Sun will do with their next album. Maybe since the last album was a triple album, this upcoming one will be a quadruple album. Maybe that's what we'll get from Swallow the Sun. And maybe they'll just call it the 4 Seasons. And And they'll do a suite for each season. They'll do winter, spring, summer, and fall. Flaming Lips did make a 24-hour long song. Listen, I'm going to tell you something. Yeah, I'm never going to listen to it. You know? A 24-hour long song, no thanks. That's too long. I like long songs, but that's too long. Like, there's got to be a time where we just say, that's enough. There's a time where, like, the musical thought just ends. And then what do you do? Well, let's have, like, 15 minutes of ambiance while we dream up the next piece of crap. Vivaldi would want royalties? Yeah. Yeah, Vivaldi's... Them damn Vivaldis, the Vivaldi family. Which I'm sure, like, there's got to be some sort of living relative. I just want there to be somebody out there that can say, hey, yo, I'm like the great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-granddaughter of Vivaldi. And, like, have them use that as, like, a reason why they're better than people. Just be like, listen, that's what I am. Who the fuck are you? Of course, these days, you probably have someone say, oh, I'm the great-great-great-grandson of Hitler. And the correct response to that would be to shoot them directly in the face. Neil, that's that doesn't matter to them. Like, whenever you deal with some folks in a community, especially whenever it comes to like an opinion like that, where they've been diehard fans for years and years, and they've really bought into the whole Metallica Megadeth rivalry. Like, they bought into it like the West Coast East Coast rap rivalry. Dude, it doesn't matter if Metallica releases an album of nothing but Kirk Hammett farting into a microphone, and, like, you know, Lars Ulrich clanging spoons against glassware. You know, James Hetfield is busy, like, mumble rapping, and Rob is just, I don't know, you know, like that. The diehards are going to consider it brilliant. They will consider it an avant-garde masterpiece, but I wish the thrash was back. Dream Theater do have a 40-minute long song. It is broken up into subsections, and on the album itself, it is it's, I want to say, what was it, like 8 or 9 different tracks, but it is the same song. It is all the same song. They also have a song where they did not do that. 2 of them, in fact. One of them is Octavarium, which eclipses the 20-minute mark, and Change of Seasons also. Really, whenever if you want to go into like concept albums and stuff like that, are they really, you know, different songs, or are they, you know, are they all just really one big song since it's one big story? I'm more of the individual that says that if you're introducing a new musical idea that has nothing in common with the previous, you have a brand new song, because then you get into splitting a lot of hairs and it gets dumb. You know, in some ways you just kind of want to say shut up and enjoy the music. I'm the man. I am the man. I would shoot an innocent person? No. I guess I wouldn't. I don't have a gun. Or a license to carry. So, I guess no, I wouldn't. Someone else might. Me? I legally can't do it. Actually, even if I didn't have a you know, license to carry, I still couldn't legally do it. It's kind of illegal to kill people. It's kind of illegal to try to kill people. Shit. What's the beat? What do I think about Machine Head retiring? or the fact that they probably won't retire.
Like he's never on time, he's always sleeping late.
I'm just not even going to say anything. There's not much to say about that. I am not even going to try that screen name. Your screen name is now. Do I like Infinite Annihilator's first album? Yeah, it's not bad. Infinite Annihilator is one of the only slam bands I enjoy. Mostly because they're different than the other ones. They're different than the other ones. IMO. Just tossing that out there. Machine Head right now is they're a band that's in a really unique position. They should just, this should be it. If Rob wants to keep a Machine Head style project going, he should not do that. He should actually just form a brand new band, new name, new everything.
Yo, watch the beat.
It's deathcore, not slam. I think we're splitting hairs there, bud. Between you and me. I think that's slicing some hairs pretty thin. Am I anticipating a new Vola album? If it comes, or when it comes, it comes. That's kind of how I feel about it. I can't anticipate everything, unfortunately, and I'm having. There's a lot out there these days. Like, this would have been amazing if I was in my early 20s. This would have been amazing if I was in my early 20s, and mostly what I was doing that was not music and listening and the like was, you know, drinking. You know what I mean? This cut is the deepest, by the way, from Swallow the Sun. This is from Emerald Forest and the Blackbird. Now that I'm at this point in my life where I'm doing too much, it's a little bit more rough to try to sustain that that excitement all the time and kind of go with everything. But yeah, it's should be a good album. Should be a really, really good album.
You're nothing but a shadow of being to what you used to be.
Without Dave and Phil, you don't know. Here's the thing. I just don't think that they are a band that is one member aside from maybe Rob Flynn, and that's because, and it's not because Rob Flynn is that valuable to Machine Head. It's because Rob Flynn's ego and a lot of the different things that have happened over the past couple of years and really throughout their career has been what has made them. They're memorable, but they are also an extremely uneven band. Whenever you look at their career, they are a very uneven band. Catharsis honestly should not be seen as that large of a surprise. Mostly because whenever you look all the way back to the Burning Red and like Bloodstone and Diamonds, and not Bloodstone and Diamonds. I can't remember. It doesn't matter. It's not important. But there are albums that were right around that same era, right after the Burning Red, that also showed a shift in a different direction and showed that Machine Head was a band that wasn't necessarily going to stick to one style at all times, which should have been a good thing. Which honestly should have been a really big positive that they had, but instead it ended up becoming a really big negative that nearly killed their career. Tom, I will have a review of the new Riverside album this week, hopefully, and it's going to be a really emotional review, I think, because it's a really emotional album. I remember whenever I was, like whenever the singles were out, I was listening to those, and there were a lot of fears that I saw among fans of, man, are these songs all going to be this short? Are all these songs going to be this short? Well, nope. You heard Phil Demmel wasn't allowed to do interviews in recent years? Wow. Oh. Bands from the new wave of British heavy metal that just fell off the map.
Touch the stars, feel the warmth.
Budgie. Maybe Diamond Head too. There was a, you know, those are bands that had decent careers to the mid '80s, and then that was sort of it. Like Tigers of Pantang, I'm pretty sure, are still active in some capacity, but I don't think that that's true with a lot of the others. I mean, granted, it's been 40 plus years. Hey, Metal Fury, how you doing? Well, Samson is fair considering they lost Bruce Dickinson. Diamond Head, I do have to say that the fact that Diamond Head was able to pack as much material as they did for their greatest hits album was kind of a surprise. And whenever I listened to that album, it was just kind of okay. Like, it wasn't... It told me that, as far as historic, you know, significance is concerned, that was really strong and really good, and it shaped a lot of sound. But to me, I didn't feel like I was missing much. Hi, Zach. How you doing? This song is entitled "This Cut Is the Deepest" from Swallow the Sun. This Time Out is the most recent from coverkillernation. But I will also say that Diamond Head was a group that, without them, I feel like every band that in some way was part of the new wave of British heavy metal equally shaped what we got afterward in a massive way. Because if you look at America, you weren't really getting too much during the tail end of the 70s. You know, there were a couple of bands that were active, but it was definitely a British scene that was going on pretty much concurrently with punk, you know, and punk was huge. Any thoughts on Lionhearts? Not really. I don't know much about him, to be honest. I don't know a good bit about Lionheart, so, wow, the next track that was recommended was the title track from Emerald Forest and the Blackbird, 10-minute epic. Oh, it's luscious. It's beautiful. Hey, it's $2 from Metal Fury. Psycho Stick with 2-ton paperweights. Let's get some yucks in. The Psycho Stick is known for being not very serious. And that's their charm. That's why we love them.
My car is a piece of shit. I wanna drive you off the cliff, watch you crash into a ravine. For the things you did to me, you stupid car. I wanna make myself a pipe, plug it down, and get back to hell where I know you're from.
Gillian coming up after that with Accept and Midnight Mover. Going back into the past a little bit with some of these requests, which is pretty awesome. And especially with the conversation. I'll tell you, Budgie for me I thought was going to be the band that I was going to love the most out of the new wave. But then of course it ended up being Saxon. Mostly because Saxon is just really, really insanely good. It did it again. Are you kidding me? I need to make sure this goes through. 273. Rank 'em all, Operation Minecraft. That would be a very short and boring list. So yeah, I wouldn't look for that in the future. I would not expect that one. Ever. Ever. Have I ever seen the website Is This Band Metal? I have not, surprisingly enough, especially considering I did that Is It Rock or Is It Metal video. Yeah, I can give them more free time if need be. Rank them all stream regulars. Rank them all CKN videos would be a train wreck. That would be a 24-hour long video. And that would be, you know, basically just putting the little logo up there and oh my god. You know how long it would take for that video to even be made? A lot. A long time. Months, years, decades, centuries. Decades, centuries, millennia. Millennia. Rank them all Buckethead. No. Never. Like, and even if that becomes an incentive during something, it's going to be like an incentive that is like $5,000 as the price tag for it. That's going to be that'd be a very, very expensive video. There is your answer. Is this band metal? Says that Psycho Stick is not metal. It's a really, really stupid website's opinion. And I've never even seen the website. Whenever I sold Psycho Stick albums in the store, they were in the metal section. They are a comedy metal act. The end. How long would it take to rank Buckethead? Longer than it's worth. Longer than it's worth. And if you think that that price tag is absurd, that price tag would be like $10 an hour. So that'd be like 500 hours plus. Probably even longer than that. Because first of all, look at the number of albums he has. Second of all, add up all of the total runtime. Third of all, expect the fact that he's going to be releasing like 75 more probably by the end of the month. Or whatever. You know, fourth of all, putting the actual list together. Fifth of all, actually performing the video and having enough energy to make it through without passing out. Step 6, editing. Y'all are probably going to want pretty little graphics. That takes time. Yeah, you know what, Reed? That's a really, really good example. Really, really good thought. $10,000. Not 10,000 days, $10,000. That's what it'll take. $10,000. Anybody want to drop 10K in order to get Rank 'em All Buckethead done? No? Okay, that's what I thought. I'm really getting halfway tempted to make Buckethead a word that if it's mentioned in stream gets somebody a timeout. Are you the only one that thinks Cryptocy's The Unspoken King is pretty decent? Between you and me, yeah. There was a couple of moments on that album that were like somewhat passable, but aside from that, it really wasn't that strong of an album. Is it as bad as some of the other like horrible albums that we've talked about on the channel? I would say it's probably a cut above, but for as far as a Cryptocy album is concerned, that was just, it was not good. IMO. Rank 'em All WrestleMania. Of course nothing happened. I said I'm thinking about it, not that it happened. God. Man, open your ears and your eyes. The best WrestleMania I think I've ever seen. Shoot, man. Ain't anything modern, I can tell you that right now. And it's not WrestleMania 3. Shoot, man. I kind of always go back to 13. Or is it 14? The, like, literal beginning of the Stone Cold era. The show itself is kind of a hot mess. But the buzz around that show is kind of crazy. 18 is also a really good show. Yeah. You are playing with fire. Oh, the problem that a lot of the modern WrestleManias have had is that they've had only 1 or 2 matchups that are truly worth it, and the rest of them are kind of garbage throwaways. There's a lot of garbage throwaway matchups at WrestleMania, which is just designed to get them on the card, you know, to get some of these performers on the card. And the one thing that I'll say about like New Japan shows is that even with the quality of wrestling being higher, one thing that they are known for a lot, or that they do a lot to start off their shows, they do a lot of 6-man or 8-man tags, or a lot of those like kind of clusterfucky matches, especially in these, you know, these days because of faction warfare and everything like that. But that can sometimes get a little bit much also. If you want to see how you put together a pretty darn good show, actually a great modern example is All In, which I was kind of surprised. I didn't think that that show was going to flow as well as it did. Like, you can start off with either a tag match or a like a multi-man match, and it's fine, but sometimes if you have just a great singles match to get the show started on fire, then there you go. I would say also that if you were going to have a championship match as your first matchup, and WWE was very guilty of this for a time during the like latter stages of the pay-per-view age, you do not want to put a world championship match on first. If that is what you need to try to do in order to, you know, get the crowd hot, you do not have faith in your product. Yeah, All In had the Battle Royal, but like you said, it was in the pre-show. I'm talking your main show. And honestly, that Battle Royal could have been the first matchup of the taped show, and it would have done nothing to the flow of that card. It would have been just fine. It would have been just fine. It was an amazing Battle Royal. It was filled with so many good moments. I loved it. That show was well put together, I have to say. You see, sometimes the biggest difference in a show can be seen, and it's very similar to like sports or any sort of competition. I'll give you an example: the Steelers-Ravens game last night, or comparing the Steelers to the Browns. You know, the Browns are 1-2-1, so are the Pittsburgh Steelers in the AFC North in American football right now. Steelers are a team that's loaded with talent. They have a ton of weapons, but they are too selfish of a ball club. They are too mired with their own drama and problems. Their defense is an absolute disgrace. Ben Roethlisberger thinks he's, you know, more important a play caller than our own offensive coordinator, and he's making bad decisions. He's no longer the quarterback that he was because he had somebody in his ear. He had somebody challenging him as opposed to him just thinking he can do everything. Le'Veon Bell's a damn greedy asshole that, quite frankly, if I ever met him in real life, I'd probably slap him in the face and tell him, hey, you're being paid $10 million to play football, and you want to sit on your ass? Hey, how about this? How about you give me your helmet and your shoulder pads and everything, and like maybe 75% of your talent? I'll do the job for you, buddy. You can stay home forever. You never have to worry about playing football again. But then there you have the Browns, who play every game with a ton of heart. And sure, they come up a little short. They came up short yesterday against the Raiders in overtime. But they're playing great games. They're playing tight games. They look good. They're in these games. And really, whenever it came to that game yesterday, it took a couple of kind of controversial calls for that game even to make it into overtime. So as far as I'm concerned, they could have pulled off that win. The name of that song was Midnight Mover by Accept. Yeah, so that is a little old school Accept for you. In case you don't know, Accept has been around for a very, very long time. Any recommendations for Exodus? Old school, you want to go with Bonded by Blood. New school, you want to go with anything out of the Tempo of the Damn series. Or the Atrocity Exhibition. Really, anything Exodus past the turn of the millennium is pretty damn good. I'm not going to lie. They've really not released a weak album since their comeback. Hey, John, I'm going to tell you something. The way that I saw Pittsburgh playing last night, if they don't change at all, they're a 5-10-1 team, and I think that Cleveland team could win 5 games also. I mean, I know that they got defeated by a winless Raiders squad, but, you know, they have already increased their win total from last year. You know, easy to do whenever your win total from last year was a big old goose egg 0. But you might as well call that tie with the Steelers a win, too. You know, the way I kind of look at it is that the Steelers are 1-3 and, 1-3. Not 1-2-1. They're 1-3. And quite frankly, if the game against Tampa Bay would have gone on for another 5 minutes, they'd be 0-4. Because they were going to blow that game. They were going to blow that game. What do I think the new Seattle NHL team will be called? Killian, I hope to hell they don't call them the Pilots. Because I'm sorry, that would be a horrible name. Oceano with District of Misery, which has been requested by Mental Fury 515, up next. While we talk a little bit of sports, and I know that for some of you this is not a fun conversation. I apologize. We talk about everything here. Actually, I don't really apologize. Watch some sports, man. Sports are good stuff. See you later, man. Heard lots of nicknames: the Sailors, the Whalers, the Seals, and the Totems. Unless they plan on the Seattle squad to be an extension of the old Hartford franchise, I would discourage the Whalers completely. And those other names are awful. Those other names are terrible. My God. Those other names make the Pilots seem like a good idea. You know? Oh, I understand that, Neil. I totally get that. Yeah, we have the MLS, which, I mean, it's kind of cool. It's pretty cool. I enjoy watching it from time to time. You can actually watch a lot more football, European football in America now than ever before. Which I'm pretty hype about. I think that's awesome. Because we are now starting to get rebroadcasts of, like, some Premier League games. I know that Ligo has gotten some love over here on a couple of alternate sports channels, and it was not this past week, it wasn't this past Sunday, it was the Sunday before. I was trying to find American football on Fox Sports, and here on the PlayStation View, they were playing German football. They were playing German footy, so that was kind of weird. See you later. See you later, Reed. You want to listen to some Merciful Fate? Melissa. Melissa is every bit the amazing album that it is. Mara, by the way, £2.50 with Garmarna Vanner Ochfrander. The wrestling move, the Pele kick, is a soccer kick. Yes, it is. Named after one of its famous users. Named after Pele, the Brazilian soccer great. Did you know that there's also a famous move that you can use without playing soccer or wrestling? You can go into your bathroom every night if you have great pipes, and you can take a caca. I like caca as a player, by the way. That was just there. I could actually do another horrible soccer joke, but this one might be too meta toward America, and that means that nobody will know this joke at all. This actually is a little too old too, but shoot, I'll try it anyway. I can't believe that people like that asshole. To me, he's always just been a little precky. Yeah, that one was pretty bad. That one was pretty damn bad. Y'all probably don't remember Preki or... I don't know if Carlos Valderrama was on the world map as far as footy was concerned, but he was... he played on a team over here in the MLS that did not survive, and it had nothing to do with him. It had to do with the fact that the team sucked and was very badly mismanaged. Garmarna with Vanner Akfrender. I'll play the official music video, even though I won't be able to watch the official music video, but you know. The Rainmaker is a weak finisher. I agree. I agree. It is a very weak finisher that they have built as such a huge finisher, like a complete and total devastator, that it's amazing how over it is. That's why I like it. That's why I like the Rainmaker, because it's sort of like the Sweet Chin music. It's the same super kick that's used by Dolph Ziggler. And obviously, Shawn Michaels is, you know, different era and everything like that, but still, if Shawn Michaels comes out of retirement, like it's being speculated he will, he uses the Sweet Chin music, it'll be treated like a finisher, and whenever it gets kicked out of, it'll be seen as a false finish and a surprise. You know what I mean? So, Destino? I like Destino, though. Destino's pretty good. You know, like, I understand why the One-Winged Angel is considered such a devastating finisher. But even that, like, that just seems like a move that could be done in any Lucha Libre match. Like, any Lucha Libre match that could potentially have a One-Winged Angel in it, and it would just be like a sort of a big setup move. By the way, the other day, or should I say the other night, I watched a three-way dance that was in Pro Wrestling Guerrilla between the Young Bucks, Ricochet, and Matt Sydal, who, of course, formerly was Evan Bourne, and Pentagon Jr. and Ray Phoenix, who is his brother. Phoenix and Pentagon are brothers, in case you didn't know, which I'm sure most of you wrestling nerds do know. For a building that had probably 600 to 800 people in it that were, by the way, fanatics, because PWG fans are ridiculous, those six put on a match. Oh my god. One-Winged Angel is too overly complex. I actually disagree. I disagree with that being overly complex. I think it needs to be because it helps to extend matchups. It helps to extend matchups. You can have the threat of the One-Winged Angel for like 10 minutes and have it always be countered because the other performer knows it's coming. Like, you can build a lot of story off of it, considering it does take a lot of setup. So, while it is complex, I would say that it's very important that it is. Like, the funny thing is about the Stone Cold Stunner is that it's so... Like, moves that come out of nowhere like that can potentially end a match are actually both a benefit and a downfall. Because let's say you have a really big matchup. I mean, you have to be able to false finish with some of those, which will create some really cool pop moments, but if you have a dead crowd, it's not going to necessarily make them come alive. I don't know. There's a lot of risk that carries with that, and it's going to depend how over you are and how over the move is. Oh, Progress. Dude, I need to find out where I can watch Progress. Is that on High Spots? Because I don't have High Spots. I'm really tempted to trade out my WWE Network subscription for Progress. Either that, or maybe even Honor Club, because I don't use Honor Club as much as I thought. Unexpected, unsolved ideas of a distorted guest. Probably one of the strangest bands ever. I agree, Tyler, and welcome, by the way, brother. You've probably been here for a little bit, and I just haven't seen any other chat interaction, but if that's your first message, then sup, how you doing? Unexpected was a really strange band, and that's why I kind of liked them. I kind of dug them because of that. Because you never knew what you were going to expect. How long will it take for Matt Riddle to fall into the WWE mix? Not long. Not long. Matt Riddle is not what Vinnie Mac likes, size-wise. Right now, some of these indie guys should just request to stay in NXT forever. Extend NXT to a 2-hour show. Limited ads, you know, just the ads that you see for like WWE Network shows and stuff like that. Bam, full-fledged brand. Just make it into a brand. He'll probably get released for a joint. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Matt is not exactly, he's not exactly Mr. Clean. But then again, I think a lot has changed ever since RVD had his title reign pretty much fucked over by a joint. Not RVD, Jack Swagger. Jack Swagger as a champion was skating on thin ice anyway. Just the idea alone was enough to have him skate. Oh, dude. Unexpected. Let's give the people a little example, actually, of unexpected. Unexpected, of course, had an album back in 2011 that we talked about, Fables of the Sleepless Empire. Why don't we play a little something from In a Flesh Aquarium? This is a band also that has a lot of views. Well, for a band of their like size, they have a lot of views. Here's Chromatic Chimera. This is off of an album, like I said, it's entitled In a Flesh Aquarium. These guys are a very interesting band. No, Seth, one of the big benefits that Seth had was the fact that he and Triple H became pretty close. So, you know, again, it is a little bit about who you know, I guess, or who is sort of recommended. Whenever Triple H becomes more of the creative force behind like Raw and SmackDown, you know, those types of things, even if it's just one show, you're going to see a definite difference in quality. Because Triple H, you know, NXT is basically Triple H's baby, and look at that, it's like the hottest brand. I would say that is the hottest brand, period. €2.29. Gravedigger Rebellion. Yeah, this is the last day of the Alzheimer's Aide streaming series. You'll have to forgive me, I am a little bit on the exhausted side from jobs I was on a little bit earlier. Why they went to New Japan guys in WWE? They shouldn't. Like, WWE had Juice Robinson, they let him go. Let Juice be successful over there in New Japan. I don't see Kenny going anywhere. I don't see Kenny going anywhere. But the actual fuck is this? This is unexpected. I told you, they're a weird band. And it's awesome. Worm Witch? I actually do not know Worm Witch. You know who is heading to WWE? Punishment Martinez. He told Ring of Honor he's done with them. He's the current television champion, which I think is, wow, bad move on Punishment's part. And I really like Punishment Martinez, but I know for a fact he is going to get just... First of all, they're going to rename him, and it's going to be dumb. It's going to be really, really dumb. I can almost guarantee it. And listen, he's good. Like, he's really, really good. But he has a lot of polish that he needs to put on his product. Because there's some matchups where he looks slow. Did he drop it to Jeff Cobb? He might have. He might have. I didn't see the event. I remembered that that event was going on Saturday. So I still have to go back and check it out. Green Jelly is some good weird music. Oh man, I've heard Green Jelly in years. It's been a long time. Old Kel Mitchell band. I actually didn't even know that Jeff Cobb was back in Ring of Honor. Or like in Ring of Honor at all. But yeah, let me tell you something. This is not uncommon for Unexpected. This is about what you would expect. And then, of course, like 75 different people have to make the "Wow, that was unexpected" joke in the YouTube comments. A cardiac infarction with voluptuous victims. Delicious. Yeah, Cobb could be the next Elgin. Why do Americans love the wrestling? It's fun. It's fun to watch. It's fun to sort of get soaked into. And especially as of the last couple of years, wrestling has gotten a lot more fun outside of what's, you know, popular. You know, the WWE or the TNA stuff. You see a little bit more of the less serious side of wrestling, and you just have respect for the art. And as far as Killian is concerned, he literally lives in the country that like eats and sleeps hockey and wrestling because of Stampede and the Hard Dungeon. My thoughts on the band Temperance? They're not too bad. Heard a couple tracks here and there. They're getting a lot of, a little bit more press lately. Because I've seen them recommended to me on YouTube a little bit more. We, of course, had a Temperance song play and stream last week. I think it was last week. Fozzy? I have Jericho's autograph. And I've covered Fozzy albums before. I got the self-titled disc the day it came out, all the way back in, what was that, 2000 or 1999, whatever year it was. Still have it to this day. We'll never get rid of it. They're a decent band. They're not anything completely and totally special. But for a band that is led by a wrestler, you would not have expected it to be as awesome as it actually is. Chris Jericho is essentially living the life that would be like super cool to have if you had the ability. Because the dude has written books. You know, the dude has books. And his books are really well thought out and really well presented. He's released albums. And of course he's a wrestler. You know, he's seen potentially as this generation's, you know, most important performer. You know, if you want to say that Shawn Michaels was the most important performer of the 80s and the 90s, then Chris Jericho is probably the most important performer of his era, of the 2000s and going into the 2010s. You know, the guy that everybody looks up to. Are you allowed to recommend bands that you used to be in? Listen, you know, with that donation and everything like that, you can recommend pretty much whatever the hell you want. Doesn't matter. If you're curious on how to request a song, though, officially, !point request songs, and then follow Nightbot's instructions. I want to know if the cruise is going to be streaming somewhere. Please tell me that. I hope that that's going to be streaming either on Honor Club or on NJPW World. Gravedigger with Rebellion coming up next. I need to actually get a break in here pretty soon. I need to get a little break in here pretty soon. I think we'll be rolling until probably about 7 o'clock, unless, of course, this is, Have I heard the new Revocation album? I have. I'll probably be talking about it this week. So I'm not going to spoil it. I'm not going to spoil my thoughts. I will spoil the fact that Horrendous' new album is amazing, and I've been saying that for like the past 4 days, or like 4 streams. Idol is just an amazing disc. Really, really good. Very mature for that band. But yeah, I just really hope that the cruise is made available somewhere. If it ends up being available only on like high spots, then I'm getting high spots. It's just sort of settled. And I'll have to determine which of the others I will walk away from, which will probably end up being Honor Club. Because I don't pay the $12.99 a month to get the stuff for free. You know, the pay-per-view shows for free, or whatever, or half off, or I don't know. I just pay the basics, so I'm really not getting too much of a benefit from it. The only benefit I got was I ordered all in after the fact, so I got it for 50% off. So I paid $20 instead of $40. Yeah, whenever it comes to Revocation, you just have to really look at the album cover, and you kind of get the idea that this is the album that they're trying to make like sort of the put up or shut up album, where they show their wide reach and their full ability. So that's what I would say as far as you know, any sort of preview of my thoughts about the album. Is that just by presentation they're trying to show themselves as a band that is in the process of morphing and becoming better. As a reminder, if you like using Amazon to get some of your music, or if that's your only option, like it's now become my only option to do that, because yeah, music store I used to work at, it's gone. Awesome. You can actually get the new Revocation over there. You can get the new album from Horrendous over there. You can get the new album from Nakamurath over there. You get basically anything you want over there. I mean, it's pretty crazy. If you need a new dinette set or some bath towels, you can get it over there. There are links in the description below the stream, is what I'm trying to say. And yeah, I'm part of a little influencer program over there, which means I get a handy-dandy 5% commission on anything that you decide to buy whenever your purchase starts from that link. Which ain't much. It sure as heck isn't much, but I put that in a little pool and like to make a little donation somewhere whenever that amount gets big enough. So far, all those have been going to Extra Life. And I need to get the total together so I can add it to the donation total. Cody, I will be hopefully releasing a review on the channel for that album this week, so I'm going to keep my mouth shut until then. But I will say that it'll probably be an emotional review. $2 Canadian from Killian wants to hear "Sexy Boy" by the Shawn Michaels theme, which we used as an outro the other day, which was pretty awesome. Pretty darn funny, actually. So that's a nice old total of 156. And we can add to our grande total. We are $107.20 away from the $1,000 that we would give us Bad Song Stream Numero Doso. So we are still a little bit behind whenever it comes to that. Yeah, Cody, I just don't want to spoil too much. I will say this. What I will say to everybody in chat prior to the review, if you have a chance to buy the new Riverside album, which you can also do on Amazon, do it. It's worth it. Same is also true with the new Revocation. Both albums, the new Anonakrath, the new Horrified, basically every album that I have said something about and maybe have been a little short in what I've said, it's because I do recommend the albums. I do recommend the albums. I have not listened to anything this weekend thus far, and I haven't gotten a chance to listen to anything today as of yet, aside from what we played here in chat. Nothing that I've listened to that was new as of this week would I not recommend. And so far, everything has been very solid. Roger? Yeah, I have. Yeah. Really, really solid album. Really, really solid album. We're going to get to myocardial infarction here in just a minute. I'm actually going to take a short little break, mostly because I need to go to the little boy's room. And I can make a joke about that would be bad because I'm a big boy, but nah, we'll just stick with it. So, while I am gone, we need to get you something to listen to while I am gone. This has been coming up a good bit. The Apocalypse Orchestra, The Garden of Earthly Delights. So, scope this out while I am gone. And let me know how you like it whenever I get back. So, I'll be right back.
From the void and steel gray steam, will fall stack home. See Neo of blue and green when he spake the light shone gold.
Apocalypse Orchestra, and the name of the song is The Garden of Earthly Delights. This has over 3 million views, by the way, off Despots Records. Pretty damn good stuff, if you ask me. Iron my shirt. Jesus Christ. Even when there's nothing to complain about, let's find something to complain about. I've worn this shirt for a while, man. I wore this shirt today because I had worn it for like 2 or 3 days, and I knew that I was going to be doing outside work, so it was going to need to get washed anyway. And like I said, I've been running all day, so yeah. This is going straight in the washer after I'm done with this stream, if I don't like just fall over and pass out for like 10 years. Voluptuous Victims by Myocardial Infarction is up next. This is a slam song that Metal Fury has said caused him to chuckle a little bit. So let's see what we got. I've actually never heard this, so this is new to me. Put in the chat, plus. This song, not my shirt. Apocalypse Orchestra. I can't spell apocalypse. Wow. You know who would kill me right now? Mango. Oh, Versailles. Yes. Versailles is a very interesting band. I have not listened to them in, it's been a little while. It's been a couple years. But Versailles was a band that was played a couple of different times during the old Blog TV days. You're going to Japan to see Baby Mel and you're coming home with 2 or 3 guitars. Well, Paradise, I understand why you won't be donating for a couple of months. Dude, that sounds like an awesome haul, and it's going to be a really fun time for you. I'm slightly jealous. Personally speaking, I feel like if I went to see Baby Metal and was able to get backstage and talk with the girls, I might leave with a girlfriend. I don't know. I feel like I should be in the Baby Metal anime. I should be in the Baby Metal anime. That's what I should be doing. That's what should be happening. I gotta say this. Last week I said that aborted album, Terror Vision, that was just released, sure was an aborted album. I slightly want to change up what I think about that album after listening to it for like a 4th time. And I feel like the album is actually a little better than what they produced over the past like half-decade. Alright, Paradise, you have yourself a good one. You take care, man. Appreciate you stopping by. But yeah, we are $107 away from that $1,000 goal for the Bad Song stream. We're going to see how well we're doing here after Shawn Michaels' theme, which comes up after the Myocardial Infarction track that we're currently listening to. Because I may be cutting out a little early. I may be cutting out at 6. We might have to end this. I may have to cut this a little short because I'm rapidly fading, and we need to get to our. We need to get to October because it is now October. It's October the 1st, ladies and gents. Please do the Bad Song stream anyway. It will fund itself. I may contemplate doing that during the marathon or the series for autism because first of all, it's going to be a cause that we will have the whole month to focus on, as opposed to this one, which we only had 2 weeks. So that's something to consider. I think we've all just kind of ran out of steam. Like we've all kind of just run out of steam a little bit. I know I've certainly run out of steam. It's been a pretty long day. What's funny is after that, the next requested, or not requested, but recommended song was from Hobson, which is a completely different genre. $2.89 from Maru. Recommends Nightwish with Swan Heart. With Swan Heart. Thoughts on that? That was Shore Music. I just meh. I've never really gotten into stuff like that really heavily. So for those that do like it, I mean, that's cool. I'm glad that you do. You are certainly funding the metal machine in some way. I was having an interesting discussion the other night. This might actually propel me through like the next half an hour or so. This could be a long discussion. Let's get Sexy Boy going though, because I am that. Not at all. I'll be a sexy boy again once I shave. Because right now I look like a homeless boy. I'm just a homeless boy. Homeless boy. I'll be your boy toy for $1. Anyway, I was discussing why or what it would take for heavy metal to be on top again, because somebody was on Twitter was talking with me about that, and I was thinking about it more last night. Like the actual discussion took place on Saturday, and I was thinking about it a little bit more last night. And you know, the one thing that I always will take away from my time working at a music store is the impression that I got whenever it came to rap fans. If you're curious why rap always seems to have really good sales and stuff like that, I'll tell you one reason why. I had a couple of customers that it didn't matter who it was that was dropping an album. Any new release rap that we had in that store, there's a good chance that they were buying just about every album that was new release rap. They support their artists, you know. Now granted, these are the folks that were working, you know. You're not seeing the folks that are, you know, not at all working, you know, getting welfare and all that stuff. They're not coming up and buying that stuff. They're downloading it, or, you know, just getting it on their phone for nothing, or, you know, whatever it is. You know, they're too busy saving up their welfare money for a new iPhone. I don't know how the hell that even works, by the way. I was never taught that way of life, and I'm honestly immensely glad for it. But, but I remember DX. Oh God, man. You do not know how old I am, man. I was 14 years old whenever the DX was big. Man, what a good life I've led. But anyway, heavy metal, you don't see that, you know, because we're too preferential. You know, we're too preferential to bands we like, bands we don't like. There's so many different styles. One of the things about having a style of music that, by and large, like, it does have its own subgenres and styles, but it by and large is the same idea. Anyway, it was, it makes it really easy to pick up a lot of stuff and, like, sample a lot of stuff. And these are folks that are not trading things in, you know, they're maybe giving them to their friends, or, you know, maybe they're selling them on eBay or something. Like, I don't know what they're doing with all these albums, but some folks, man, they have to have a huge collection. Neil is in the building. He is into his house. I had to do a little wiggle there because whenever you listen to Shawn Michaels, his theme, you have to give a little wiggle. If you don't, then, well, I just don't know what's wrong with you. I don't know what's wrong with you, and maybe medical science doesn't either. I had to get that little wiggle in. $2.60 once you hear the National with the Reigns of the Castamere. We can do that. We can certainly toss that on board. That's going to bring us within $2 of 900. So, hey, you know what? Even if we don't make it to the $1,000 for the Bad Song stream, this has been a great marathon. It's been a quick marathon. You know, for only 10 days, that's not bad at all. Especially considering it looked like Saturday was going to be a really big day, and it got destroyed by my ISP. So I should probably go down there and tell them that they owe me like $400. You know, amplify it a little bit. You know, say that I was going to have somebody donate $400. They didn't because, you know, the stream looked like shit because my ISP's a load of garbage. That's exactly what they said. Their words, not mine. And, yeah. You know how much money of that I'll get? None. Getting none of it. Batista is going to be making an appearance on SmackDown 1000 because Evolution's coming back for, I'm assuming, one night only. Which will be really, really interesting because I really don't know, like, who would you see Evolution go up against on the SmackDown roster? It really doesn't matter because it's going to be like a one-off thing where they're probably just going to celebrate, you know, 1,000 episodes of SmackDown, similar to what they did with Raw 25. I don't foresee there being like an actual storyline here. The only reason why I see it makes sense on SmackDown is because Randy Orton's there. Yep, it's going to be all four of them. So, and whenever you think about it, it's not that hard to do, honestly. The only two people that you need to question availability for is Ric Flair and Batista. And Batista right now is pretty wide open because he's not going to be working on Guardians 3 because of what happened with their director. As far as Rick is concerned, you know, with Charlotte being there, he's pretty much just a phone call away. So, not that hard of a thing to do. Not that hard of a thing to do. And of course, Randy's already on SmackDown. Randy Orton. And Triple H is Triple H. I mean, he's the damn COO. Hand of Doom by Man O' War by Kiara Sonata's music. That $2 will put us above the $900 plateau. Thank you very much. That is pretty awesome. I will say that it looks like for our marathon we will not make it to a number of the different incentives, and we also will not make it to our other two secret incentives. I will tell you what the other two secret incentives are for those who haven't looked it up using exclamation point incentives. The two that are going to be missed out on is another person winning 5 free song requests, similar to what Max Ryder did earlier in this event. And the other one was the instant $25, the instant riches. But, well, you know, Evolution was always on Raw, but Randy is on SmackDown, so I can see them maybe, if they're going to do any sort of story, it's going to have to be like Jeff Hardy and now Ty Dillinger. You know, the folks that Randy is trying to destroy, you know, maybe surround him or something like that, and all of a sudden you hear the ticking of the clock, and bam, out comes Aide, Batista, and Flair. Like, that's what I would say it would probably happen. What's my response to people saying heavy metal music is a phase? They're a phase. They're a phase. You know, the sad part is that for some folks, heavy metal is a phase. It's true. Any style of music could potentially be just a phase. Like, I had a rap phase, where that's all I listened to back whenever I was, like, in the 6th grade. I had a Michael Jackson phase, where I listened to mostly just him and Prince and, like, oldies, which was, like, 4th grade to 6th grade. You know, I had an alternative music phase where I was big into that from, like, the 7th grade to, like, the beginning of 9th grade. But I had already started my metal journey, so it's just, you know, it's whatever. They can say that, but the funny thing is that I still listen to a little bit of rap, I still have an appreciation for some pop, you know, JT, Miguel, Adele. You know, I can still recognize and enjoy talent. And of course, alternative music I still listen to this day. So I don't think it's so much of a phase as it is just something that maybe you don't listen to as your primary style of music. That I don't think will necessarily always last for everybody. Primarily because it's just heavy metal can be a style of music that can get you or speak to you during moments of your life that are very confusing and feel like a very healthy response. I knew somebody, and I still do, they're not dead, we're still friends and all that stuff, but one of my friends, that's how I should have started that statement, one of my friends, whenever she got extremely frustrated or flustered or felt really kind of backed in a corner, and felt like she needed to lash out because she was constantly sort of being attacked, you know, whether it be through opinion or, you know, too many people trying to tell her how to live her life. Like, one thing that she did, she didn't, you know, go on and listen to the entire discography of Slayer or, you know, Aborted or whatever. Instead, what she did was that she changed up her image. You know, she would go from whatever she was wearing to things that kind of looked like an old punk girl. Like, do you remember episodes of like Full House or some of those old 90s sitcoms where whenever a character wanted to show their bad side, they would dress up kind of like a stereotypical bad boy, you know? You put the bandana on, the leather jacket, you know, all the stereotypes. It was kind of like that. It was kind of like that, only done pretty tastefully, and it was all stuff that she would wear in her wardrobe anyway. It's just that at that point it was something that she immediately wanted to change into. It was like almost like unlocking a side of herself, trying to convince herself to not take things as seriously, or you know, not care so much about what everybody says and only care about, you know, what she wants to do or things like that, you know. Heavy metal, I feel, can be that same thing for a lot of people.
When allergies
but
stand in the
shut up, allergies. I don't give a shit. This commercial's standing in my way. Fuck off. I feel like the music can also do that for some folks, and it's, you know, to us it's going to feel a lot like, you know, posing, or it's not like they're not serious about it or anything, but hey, they're still listening. You know, they're still listening. The National with the Reigns of Castamere. This is, of course, from Game of Thrones. Some people consider Richard Wagner to be pre-symphonic metal. I would certainly do so. I would say Wagner has had a influence in some heavy metal bands quite a bit. I'm trying to think exactly who it was that I think it might have been Elland that stated that Wagner was an influence on their music, especially whenever it came to the chaos. And Wagner used a lot of dissonance. Wagner also used a lot of like minor progressions, and his build and his like the epic build that he was able to develop with tracks such as Ride of the Valkyries is pretty legendary, and his overall usage of tone and pace. Ah, Tomas. Okay, okay. Crypt Sermon, yeah. I hope to talk to folks a little bit more about Crypt Sermon, and we're gonna have a new shirt to talk about this week, because this right here still needs to be reviewed. This Metalhead box, and I can tell you right now, as a potential spoiler alert, that I don't know if I can tell you. Actually, I can. The shirt is for a band called Spirit Adrift. Spirit Adrift. And one thing that I will be talking about is this really, really cool SOD pin. Look how fucking badass that is. How cool is that? That's a really cool pin. I feel like the National had a big song. Like a really big song. And I, for the life of me, cannot think of what it is. As we get into Hand of Doom by Man-O-War. Yeah, for a second there, I didn't think I was going to be able to tell who it was because in the past, it hasn't been in. Well, some of the past shirts weren't in bags. You know, they were just in there. But this one's in a bag, so I wasn't sure if I was seeing the whole thing. And then I started noticing the curvature and the style of the logo, and it was like, oh, well, that's easy. I know that. This is off of what might actually be my favorite Man-O-War album. I'm not gonna lie. I loved Warriors of the World whenever it came out, and I still love it, honestly. The title track is amazing. The title track of this album is awesome. It's really, really cool. Why do they like or why do they listen to Cheerleader Concubine? I'll be honest with you, I've never listened to Cheerleader Concubine, so I don't know. You know, just about anything is going to have some sort of love or appreciation to it. I can't imagine there being a band that has no fans. Like, I just can't see that as being a possibility, you know what I'm saying? And listen, if y'all don't like Man-O-War, I don't know if we can be friends. I'm kidding. I'm a wimp and a poser, but I'm not leaving the hall. Then you're not a wimp. You're standing your ground. You saw him on this tour? Ah, Kiara. I have to admit some slight jealousy. That was back in the dark ages of Pittsburgh's heavy metal scene because we didn't have a lot of shows come through back then. We did not have a ton of shows. It was either big shows that were going to what was it, Star Lake Amphitheater back then, or it might have been Post Gazette Pavilion by that point. But whenever it came to club shows, it was kind of a weak time in the scene, and it improved a little bit by like 2004. And then, I'll tell you what, in 2010, 2011, whenever I was attending like between 10 to 15 shows a year, it was really, really strong. What do I consider A7X? 2 letters and a number. They're metal. They're a heavy metal band. If that's what you're asking, you know. They're a heavy metal band. And, if you're unsure about that, the stage proved it. Who laughs in European metal privilege? Dude, that's awesome, Killa. I like that. I like that a lot. It gave you nightmares. Well, you know. Gods of War by Man-O-War or Nostradamus by Judas Priest? That's not fair. But those albums are great. Gods of War isn't as good as Warriors of the World, but I'm a little partial. Just a little partial. Man-O-War was also like the biggest joke, like running joke that was on the old Iron Maiden band board that I was a part of. Like the same Leave the Hall jokes were being provided. I haven't heard Leave the Hall in a long ass time, so that was an awesome throwback BTW. And then anytime Man-O-War was mentioned, we had to put the little cheese icon right next to it, which is super cool. Because they are really cheesy, and that's what makes them fun. Is A7X considered emo because of guilt by association? I would say no. Hey, more Fistman. I probably just destroyed that. I apologize. What's the next band for 5 Reasons People Hate? I actually don't know. I actually do not know. I don't know when the next episode of that will probably come. I know that the next couple videos that are going to be done, we'll have a couple of lists. We have a pair of rank-em-alls that'll be coming up pretty soon. I would say not to expect another 5 Reasons People Hate until at least November. And that might not even be made in November, because I think November, October, this month, starting with our next stream, our cause is going to be for autism awareness, and it's not going to be with Autism Speaks. So I'm just going to give you a little preview right there, because we do a lot of charity streams on here, where like 30% of donations automatically go to a charity. I'm not sure if we're going to be doing one of those in November or not. We're going to see about that. But I know that we are definitely going to do Listmania in November. And I'm working on potentially having a cause together for that. If I had one already in mind that I mentioned, guess what? I forgot it because I didn't write it down. And I'm old now. I'm old now, damn it. Do we have any other songs on this kit? We don't. We're listening to more Manowar. Y'all can suck it. Y'all can suck it. Watch, there's probably like a donation that I have completely and totally ignored on, what the heck? Catalonia erupts in renewed protests 1 year after independence. It's been 1 year since that independence vote? Jesus, I feel like we just talked about that like a couple months ago. Holy shit. Those of you who are in the EU, I'm not sure if you have a horse in this race at all. Do you care at all about the Catalonia independence from Spain, or is it something that doesn't bother you all that much? What's going on with that? How do you feel? You've heard bad things about Autism Speaks, so have I. Just like I have seen and heard horrible things about the American Red Cross, so I will never have a stream that benefits the American Red Cross. I will never have a stream that benefits the American Red Cross. The end. Unless they improve gratuitously over the course of the next couple of years. So, and considering the American Red Cross has coverage everywhere, you can see them on the fucking Weather Channel whenever a disaster strikes. Yeah, they need to really improve what they do. But Autism Speaks, I hear, is like a fucking mockery to the damn disease, which is just, I'm so sorry to hear that. BTS for Blood on the Dance Floor. We're not even going to talk about that. So, yeah. You don't keep up with Spain's politics. That's fair. That's absolutely fair. Biocratic monster that's causing more bad than good. I'm kind of getting the. I'm kind of getting that idea with how many folks are looking to, or with the England obviously, and with Brexit, and now we have the whole deal with Catalonia and Spain. I just see there's a lot of stuff that's going on here. I see a lot going on in that corner of the world. Hey, MXX. You probably don't. You probably have a very good right to not care about it. In France, you guys have your own things going on. You have your own things going on, right? I haven't heard anything from France ever since the Paris attacks. I don't hear a lot about what's going on over in France. In some ways, I have to come to you guys and tell me what's going on in your countries, because not out of ignorance, I don't watch the news. I don't watch the news by trade, because first of all, if something big happens, I'll hear about it on Facebook from 75 different people, all with bad opinions about it. So I'll read the article and bam, my curiosity is piqued. That's not ignorance once again. That's just the fact that I have learned my lesson. Whenever I put my 2 cents in on stuff like that and like hit folks with a dose of reality instead of stupidity, oh boy, people are not a happy camper. Whew. You know? So I'd rather hear the news from some of y'all, because if there's one thing y'all have taught me, is that you guys will tell me what happened, as opposed to immediately being like, oh, this horrible thing happened with the liberal progressive, you know, neo-Nazi, neo-privileged, white, black privilege, anti-Semitic, you know, peace pipe, you know, party that caused this. You know, you're not precursoring the event with your opinion. You know, you're telling me what up. $1.99, or excuse me, £1.99. Atlanta from the Stone Temple Pilots, one of my favorite songs off of number 4. Dude, very, very cool. Would ever do a Marilyn Manson ranked? I wouldn't rule it out. I would not rule it out. It is not currently in my plans. 5 reasons people hate Starset. How many? Starset has what, like 5 fans? I don't hate the band. It's just I don't see a lot of people talk about Starset. I'll be honest. I don't see a lot of people talk about Starset at all. You read the news the first thing in the morning. You are much better than me whenever it comes to that. And it's not even because of the whole fake news thing, you know, and all that garbage. You know, I know that's out there. I know that it's just whatever. You know, I'm not even concerned about that. I just have seen journalism go on a major decline. Journalism has become... It's on a major decline also because it's constantly critiqued. What journalism is supposed to be is just, bam, here we are presenting you the facts of what happened. And one of the first things that you see in blog posts is, you know, they don't tell you the story. They start off with their opinion. That's not journalism. That's an opinion piece. We don't need 350,000 people being Dear Abby. Now, to be fair, that's what I would do if I ever did anything like that. And that's what I have done in the past with heavy metal news. You know, I've presented the story from the articles, and then I've given my own opinion. But I don't call myself a journalism. You know, I don't call myself a journalist. I didn't say, you know, coverkillernation, the internet's best heavy metal journalist at your service. You know, fuck no, I don't do that. And if I ever did, then that was obviously done more so as a joke than actual truth. But, you know. 5 reasons people hate fried chicken. They're dumb. You make it, or the only fried chicken they've ever had has been bad because like somebody either undercooked it, overcooked it, gave them food poisoning, you know, or whenever they got the fried chicken, it was blacker than, you know, tar, I guess. But yeah, it has been proven over the course of the past number of years that we are in an age where journalism is becoming a little less trustworthy, or actually a lot less trustworthy. And we're at a time now where, stupidly enough, people are believing everything that they see from one side and are immediately thrusting that information bias and that fact that you can't trust everything whenever it's from a source that is against their cause. So even the news, like even the journalistic side, what's basically supposed to just tell us, you know, sit down at night and say, you know, there was a fire at the power plant tonight. You know, now it's become party-based. Especially in America. Like, I'm using America as an example here. It's become very party-based, or it's become, you know, it is once again the idea of the art of misinformation. It's the art of deception. it's, you know, some people say, they go so far as to say it's mind control. But I'll tell you, I wouldn't call it propaganda. Not yet. We're getting there. We're damn close. See you later, Metal Fury. You have a good one, man. You had a new president for the past year and a half, and he's been more or less successful and popular. Good stuff. That's good to hear. That's good to hear, MXX. I always kind of liked France, I'm not going to lie. I took French whenever I was in high school, and the tail end of grade school, and I remember like none of it. So it's really interesting that right now I'm watching a streamer like almost nightly train for an event called the Big 20, who is French-Canadian. So, yeah. That's not always easy to follow. But I kind of feel like I shouldn't watch just American streamers, you know? Because there's plenty of folks out there. All different cultures, shapes, and sizes, you know? I think the only type of journalism you can trust these days might be music journalism. No, that's a lie. Metal Sucks exists. Metal Sucks' idea of metal journalism is, hey, let's see what Corey Taylor's doing today. Oh, he's eating Cheerios. Corey, how do you feel about Cheerios? Thank you to Neil for this awesome track. I don't know, folks. I think I might be done. I think we should focus hardcore on our drive for autism now that it is October. We did a great amount of work whenever it came to this cause, especially on such short notice. This is a 2-week event that honestly should probably have gone on longer. It actually got extended into the month of October because of Atlantic Broadband. I kind of want to kick in the nuts. You want to get into the world of wrestling with your journalism degree? Let me tell you, I kind of wish I went into broadcast journalism. There are some sports announcers that look like they could be replaced real easy because they suck. I'm looking at you, Chris Collinsworth. Not really. Chris Collinsworth's alright. I could definitely, it would have been a lot of fun to be in that department. And then again, you know, to be like a wrestling announcer or something like that, or like a play-by-play commentator, hell, I did that whenever I was in a backyard company. So there are VHS cassette tapes out there that exist that have me calling matchups. Autism deserves more positive attention than it gets. That is why we are. That's why we're going to do this in October. You know, it gets a lot of negative attention from stupid people. And I'll just say it. I'll just open my mouth and say it. People want to believe that, you know, autism is caused by vaccines. Again, they take something that is a horrible disease and they turn it into some sort of political or like put all the attention on me, you know, type story. Gonna try to get in the ring announcing? There you go. That's how you start. Listen, everybody. Whenever that album reviewer guy is the new play-by-play announcer for I don't know. We'll go with Ring of Honor. I like Ian Riccaboni, but at the same time, I don't think he's going to stay there forever. Whenever you're the new color play-by-play commentary for Ring of Honor, I'm going to be able to say, yo, I knew that guy. That guy used to come in my streams. That guy's cool as shit. Ian, man. I actually really like what Ian does. But I'll tell you who I really miss, oh god. I can't think right now. Ring of Honor would be a really cool promotion to work for. I'm pretty sure. Like, it just looks like it's a really smooth promotion. It's well done, and like, this is definitely a golden age for that promotion with some of the talent that they have. Just a great class of young performers that have grown up in Ring of Honor, and now we're also watching a brand new class of young performers starting to really get their foot in the door, and they're going to be around for a good long time. You know, whenever you consider the age of guys like Ospreay and Marty Scurll, and then you look at like Pete Dunne, even Matt Riddle, you know, the guys that are starting to get the big attention-grabbing either contracts or matchups or stuff like that, they're putting... This is a nice time to be a wrestling fan. This is a really fun time to be a wrestling fan. IEUD is from Igor, and it is up next. And I think that might do it. Cricket533, how you doing? Yeah, definitely came on board as we're about to maybe wrap things up, I think, for the evening. I'm exhausted. I'm a very, very tired boy. I've been going at it since 9 this morning. Running. It is a really, it's warm over here is another thing. Like, it's high 70s over here. So it got pretty warm. And it felt a lot, whenever I was outside working, it felt a lot hotter than I think it actually is. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is going to do it. See you later, Neil. Neil, you have yourself a great afternoon. I want to thank you for stopping by. Well, Ghost album is my favorite. Oh man, that's a really, really good album because I like Prequel a lot. Prequel is going to make some waves this year whenever it comes to album of the year. I'm going to just give you that preview. I'm still a really big fan of their debut. I love Opus Eponymous quite a bit. I might have to go with the debut still. I love how the band is evolving. I really do. I think I'm one of the few people that doesn't have a single issue with how they're evolving. But thanks for the question. Drop the mic. I appreciate it. Very good question. That would be a really hard rank them all to do. But it would also be kind of futile considering there's only 4 albums. You know, considering there's just Opus, Infestissimum, Meliora, and Prequel. I have seen Ghost live, yes. Yeah, they are absolutely incredible. I saw them with Opeth and Mastodon back in 2000 and I want to say 13? So 13 or 14. It might have been 14. But yeah, really, really cool tour. And Ghost absolutely stole the show. Ghost absolutely stole that show. What was noticeable about Opeth that particular evening is that they played Demon of the Fall, so they've obviously performed songs live from their previous albums, their growling albums and stuff. It's just something they're no longer putting in their new music. But I remember how much the crowd erupted for Demon of the Fall, and somebody in the crowd told them to play Freebird, and Mike is just such a freaking cheeky bastard. He starts listing off Leonard Skinner songs that he thinks are better than Freebird. Austin, what's the best live show that I've ever been to? That's a pretty good question. I would say the first time I saw Opeth was really, really special. Whenever I saw Porcupine Tree with Big Elf, that was an awesome show. But I think the show that became sort of the biggest spectacle and will always stay in my mind, I saw Immortal on their comeback mini tour along with Absu. And what's really noticeable or noted about that tour was that here in Pittsburgh, the night of the show, we were threatened with 18 inches of snow, which we got probably at least a foot of that. And so I still went to the show. It was an absolute mess to get down there. And the show took place. One of the venues that we have in this area is a former. Excuse me. Is a former like church or cathedral. I think it's a church. It's not big enough to be a cathedral. And so that, of course, was made note of, and the fact that black metal was played in that sort of venue is still pretty wild. And I almost didn't make it home that night because of the snow. I was going down one of the, I was going down the road, Route 51, State Road, and southbound lane was open, and I was able to make my way back to my town and successfully made it home. But if I had been going northbound on 51, I would have been stuck on that road for the entire rest of the night because of a pretty bad tractor-trailer accident that had taken place further up the road. So it was a really cool, like a really, really awesome experience. Enslaved I saw with Dimmu Borgir. That was 2000 and... That would have to be 2010 whenever I saw that show. I noted that I carpooled with somebody, aka I gave them a ride. They had a ticket but they didn't have a ride because they broke up with their boyfriend or whatever. It was some stupid idea. And then I ran into another one of my friends who was there with her mom, which was really awkward because her mom is not a metal fan. Her mom's a little strange. Why she was there? I don't know. She wanted to go. Something. I never was able to ever get that explanation out of Marilyn, but I love her anyway because she was a great friend, great metal fan. I haven't talked to her in, God, it feels like 5 years. Like Rush? Yep. Yeah, I do. I do enjoy Rush. They are quite a good band. See, a lot of the shows I've gone to have stories like that attached to them. Whenever I saw Watain, for example, I had a flimsy pair of glasses before this set, and that pair of glasses got flung from my face during Watain's set. So for about half of Watain's set, I was pretty certain that I was going to somehow have to drive home with broken glasses. Like, basically drive home without having the ability to see very well. Waited for the set to be over. They were pushed up against the barricade, and they were fine. They were completely intact. There were no bends or breaks or scratches even. They were just perfect. They were flex-on bendy glasses, so I guess that really helps, or helped. And then there was the Overkill show where I bled for Overkill. That was awesome. Brewers beat the Cubs to capture the NL Central title. Good. So why not write a short story based off those memories? That'd be kind of a cool little, like, semi-autobiographical, like, project to do for fun one day. You know, concert memories, like a little, maybe a piece of merch to offer. Speaking of merch, October should be merch month. We should have merch available sometime here in October. But anyway, that's gonna be it for me. Yeah, I'm just dead. Hashtag dead. I want to leave you guys with something good though, and maybe talk with you guys for just a couple more minutes. So, just trying to think of what. Let's give the people. This has been a. Maine is calling me. I don't know anybody in Maine, as far as I remember. Well, I knew like 2 people who were in Maine, but I'm pretty sure both of them left Maine. Merp. Let's leave with, since we were talking a little bit about revocation. I'm going to leave you guys with Of Unworldly Origin. This is from the Outer Ones. This was just released. This is one of the singles off of it. Let you be the judge of how you feel about this album going in. I will be back in a couple of days. I will not be streaming for the next few days. I will probably be... I would say the next day that you should expect me to stream will probably be like Thursday or Friday. And I would be gearing a little bit more toward Friday. I want to take the next couple of days to do some recording. I need to do quite a bit of recording. So that is going to be my priority for the next couple of days, and then we will start our. I'll tell you what. I'm gonna make it official. Friday is going to be our first stream in the Autism series. It's going to be this Friday, and it's going to be like a preview or a prequel stream. I don't think I'm going to do like numbers like I did with this, you know, where it's going to be 10 streams guaranteed or something like that, you know. I think instead it's just going to be the series, you know. We don't need all those numbers and crap anyway. And then I'll announce whenever the last day is going to be, whenever I know the last day is going to be. So drop the mic. I would expect me back on Friday. And the stream starts usually sometime between 3 and 4 p.m. Eastern Time. So I'm unsure of where you're located, but do the time conversion there. So if you're in California, for example, that would be that'd be 1:30 Eastern Time p.m. I know a lot of you are European, so for most of you, stream starts at a pretty fair time. It usually starts like around 9 p.m. Prime time for you guys. Prime time CKN. Instead of watching primetime television, which most of it sucks. So here's Of Unworldly Origin. This is what the end of the stream is sponsored by, or brought to you by, not sponsored by. And this is, of course, the end of the Alzheimer's Aide streaming series. So I want to thank each and every one of you guys who, and you know, ladies and gentlemen who participated in this. Let me tell you, 90554, pretty damn good. Pretty damn good. Our donation is going to be a little less than $300. The 30% cut for the donation is going to be a little less than $300, but that's okay. We still have done a hell of a great job. You're on the East Coast of the United States, then yours is very, very simple. 3 or 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Sometime between then is when I get started. Drop the mic. I actually, like, legitimately got a voicemail from there. Oh, it's only 20 seconds long. Spam, for sure. For sure it's spam. I was starting to think to myself, I was like, wait a minute, what if, like, one of my 2 friends from Maine actually were calling me for the first time ever because something was wrong? And whenever I saw a voicemail, I was like, oh, fuck. Thank you very much, Kiara. I was glad that we were able to actually get it in. I am still very apologetic for what happened on Saturday with the stream not being able to work. We might have had a little better day on Saturday. It looked like we were going to have a good crowd, but my ISP had some different ideas. But that'll do it for me for today. I will see you guys next time on Friday. This coming Friday, we'll reset everything to 0. We'll have a brand new set of incentives. Brand new pile of fun, brand new series. I don't know if it's going to be like a prize or like a bid war or something like this, or I want to change it up a little bit. I would like to change it up a little bit, so we'll see what kind of style it's going to be. But alright guys, you have a good one, and have a great evening. Take care.